Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum and good day to everyone. So today we will discuss a method of completing the square. Okay, this method is very important before we can proceed to our next topic, which are circle and parabola. So what is completing the square? Completing the square is used for, Completing the square is used for converting a quadratic expression of the form ax squared plus bx plus c to the vertex form a multiply x minus h squared plus k. The most common application of completing the square is in solving a quadratic equation. So, why it is important to learn completing the square before we can learn circle and parabola? Okay, because look at the standard form of a circle and a standard form for parabola. If we are given a quadratic equation, we can transform the equation into the standard form of circle and parabola by using method of completing the square. So how to do completing the square? Okay, look at A. Let's say we are given x squared plus bx plus c equals 0 as our quadratic equation. So first, we must make sure that the coefficient of x squared must be 1. Okay, the coefficient of x squared. Like this example here, it's already 1. Okay, and then we have to recognize the value for b. And then here our b is positive b. Okay, first step. Okay, after we confirm that the coefficient for x squared is 1, and then after we recognize the value for b, okay, proceed to the first step. Add b over 2 square and minus b over 2 square into our equation. Okay, that's why it's very important for us to know the value of b from the quadratic equation. Okay, and then proceed to the second step. We will take x from the x square and then plus with the value from b over 2. So it becomes x plus b over 2 square. And then the rest minus b over 2 square plus c. And this step also will eliminate the x from our equation. Okay, A is for when our b is positive. And then b here is for when our b is negative. Okay, if we have x squared minus bx plus c equals 0 as our quadratic equation, okay, to do completing the square, okay, first step, we can add negative b over 2 square and minus negative b over 2 square into our equation. Okay, and then for the second step, we take x from the x square and then we take the value from negative b over 2 square. It becomes like this, x minus b over 2 square. And then continue by copying the rest of the equation, minus negative b over 2 square plus c equals 0. And this second step will also eliminate negative b over x. So from the quadratic equation, after 2 steps, we get this equation. Okay, let's try some question from your homework. Okay, the first question is from homework 29. Let's say we are given a quadratic equation x squared minus 8x plus 15 equals 0. Okay, in order for us to use or to apply completing the square first, we have to make sure the coefficient or value of a, okay, the coefficient of x squared or value of a must equal to 1, which it is already is here. Okay, x squared, meaning that the coefficient for x squared is 1. And then second one, we have to recognize the value of b. So the standard form of quadratic equation is a x squared plus bx plus c equals 0. Okay, from here we know that a equal 1 and our b is equal to negative 8. Okay, when we have a negative value as our b, we can follow these two steps. Right, let's continue. As for the first step, x squared minus 8x, and then we will add negative 8 over 2 square, and then minus negative 8 over 2 square plus 15 equal 0. Okay, we can regard this as our step 1. As for the step 2, take x from the x square and negative 8 over 2 square. So negative 8 over 2, put in bracket, square. And then copy the rest. And that is our step 2. And then for the final answer, we can simplify. So 8 over 2 is 4. And then we can bring these two constants to the right. Okay, negative 8 over 2, 4. 4 square is 16. When we bring negative 16 to the right, it becomes positive 16. Bring 15 to the right, minus 15. So final answer, x minus 4 square equal 1. Okay, next question, still from homework 29. This time it's question number 4. Okay, the given quadratic equation is 4y squared plus 11y minus 15 equals 0. Okay, remember we have to check two things before we can proceed with completing the square. Number 1, we have to make sure the coefficient for x squared or y squared is 1. Okay, sorry, not 0, 1. Okay, but over here, the coefficient for y squared is 4. So what we can do is that we can divide the whole equation by 4. Okay, just to make sure that the coefficient for y squared will be 1. So divide by 4, we get y squared plus 11 over 4y minus 15 over 4 equal 0. Okay, only after that, we make sure that the coefficient for y squared is 1, we can proceed to the next step. Okay. B. Okay, from this equation, our b is 11 over 4. Let's proceed to the first step of completing the square. We can add 11 over 4 over 2 square and then minus 11 over 4 over 2 square into our equation. Okay, this is step 1. And then we can take y from the y square and then plus with b over 2. So 11 over 4 over 2 square, and then copy the rest of the equation. Okay, next we can start to simplify. 11 over 4 over 2 is 11 over 8 square, and then we can bring these two constants to the right. So 11 over 4 over 2 is 11 over 8. And then the square of that value is 1 to 1 over 64. And then bring 15 over 4 to the right as well. We can solve this addition and we get 361 over 64. And that is the final answer. We proceed to the next homework. Homework 30. If homework 29, we want to do completing the square for quadratic equation. But this time for homework 30, we want to do completing the square for parabola equation. So we want to transform the given quadratic expression into standard form of parabola equation. Okay, number 1. Y square plus 6y minus 4x plus 1 equal 0. So there's a mix of variable y and variable x in the quadratic expression because, okay, let's go back to the standard form of parabola. Here you can see that in one equation we have variable x and variable y. Okay. Okay, for this one, still, number 1, we have to make sure that the coefficient for y squared is equal to 1, which for this equation it already is. And then number 2, recognize the value for b. Okay, because our variable for squared here is y, so our b is 6. Okay, we will ignore negative for x. Okay, for this equation, it depends on which variable is the square. So here we take b equal 6. Okay, proceed. Take y plus b over 2. So our b is 6. 6 over 2 square. And then minus 6 over 2 square. And we can bring negative 4x plus 1 to the right. Okay, and then let's simplify the equation on the left. 6 over 2 is 3. And then we can leave y plus 3 square on the left and bring 3 square to the right. 3 square is 9. Simplify. We get y plus 3 square equal 4x. This is supposed to be minus, not plus. So 9 minus 1 is 8. And then we can factorize 4. And then we can compare this final equation to the standard form of parabola, which is y minus k square equal 4p x minus h. And then from there, we can get the coordinate for our vertex. Okay, you don't have to worry about what is vertex right now because we will learn about parabola during our next class. So from here, we can get the coordinates of our vertex. Coordinates of our vertex from h is 2. And then from k, negative 2 and negative 3. And then here, we can get the value for p. For p equal 4, then our p will equal to 1. Okay, let's discuss one more question from homework 13, how to do completing the square to transform the given quadratic expression into parabola equation. Okay, on the left we have 2x multiplied by x minus 8 equal negative 8 multiplied y minus 2. So let's expand the equation first. We get 2x squared minus 16x equal negative 8y plus 16. To perform completing the square, number one, we have to make sure the coefficient for the squared variable is 1. So from this equation, 2, okay, we must divide the whole equation by 2. So we get x squared minus 8x equal negative 4y plus 8. And then we can proceed to do completing the square. In this equation, our b is equal to negative 8. Okay, we will ignore negative 4y because the squared variable in this equation is x. So we take the b value also from variable x. Okay, take x, then minus b over 2, so minus 8 over 2. Square equal, minus negative 8 over 2 square equal negative 4y plus 8. So let's simplify. 8 over 2 is 4. Okay, 4 square is 16. Okay, negative 8 over 2 is negative 4 square, we get 16. Then we can leave x minus 4 square on the left and bring negative 16 to the right. As for the final equation, we get x minus 4 square equal negative 4y plus 24. And to compare with the standard form of parabola equation, we can factorize negative 4. So y minus 6. Okay, to compare with the standard form, x minus h square equal negative 4p y minus k. So the coordinate for vertex is, okay, we take h 4 and then we take k 6. And to find p, negative 4p equal negative 4. So our p equal to 1. Okay, we will learn about vertex and the value for p during our next lesson. Okay, now let's proceed to the last homework for this topic, which is homework 31. This time we want to do completing the square for circle equation. So we can apply completing the square to transform this quadratic expression into the standard form of circle equation. Okay, number one, we have to make sure the coefficient of the squared variable is 1. So in this case, in this equation, you can see that we have two squared variables. We have x squared and y squared. This is because, okay, let's go back to our first slide. The standard form of the equation of a circle is x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equal r squared. So we have two squared variables. Okay, we have x squared and we have y squared in the equation of a circle. So how to apply completing the square for this quadratic expression? Okay, we have confirmed that the coefficient for x squared and y squared is 1, and then the value for b. Okay, for x squared, there's no b. Okay, our b is equal to 0. Okay, because we only have x squared. But for y squared, okay, we have y squared plus 2y. So we have b here. For y squared, our b equal 2. Okay, let's do the first step for x. Since our b is 0, so x minus 0 square minus 0 square. And then let's do completing the square for y. So plus y plus, okay, the value for b is 2. 2 over 2 square minus 2 over 2 square minus 15 equals 0. So we have to do completing the square 2 times. First for the x variable and then second for the y variable. Okay, let's simplify. For the x variable, we are only left with x squared. Then for the y variable, y plus 1 squared equal, bring negative 15 to the right, and then 2 divided by 2, 1 square is 1. Final equation, x squared plus y plus 1 square equals 16. And to compare with the standard form of a circle, x minus h square plus y minus k square equal to r square. So from here we can get the coordinate of center. Okay, h 0 and then k negative 1. And then from r square equals 16. So r, or the radius of the circle, is square root 16, which equal to 4. Let's discuss one more question. How to transform this quadratic expression into the standard form of equation of a circle. So we can apply completing the square. Okay. First, you have to make sure the coefficient for both variables or squared variable is 1. So divide everything by 5. X squared plus y squared plus 8x plus 8y minus 20 equals 0. And then we can rearrange the equation following the variables. So x squared plus 8x, then plus y squared plus 8y, and we can move negative 20 to the right. Okay, so let's do completing the square for x variable first. So here we can see that our b is 8. So x plus 8 over 2 square minus 8 over 2 square. Okay, this is for x. Okay, and then let's do for y. Okay, the b for y is also 8. So y plus 8 over 2 square minus 8 over 2 square equal, so we should simplify 20. Okay, 20 divided by 5 is 4. So this is not 20, 4. Okay, when we divide everything by 5, 20 is included. So negative 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, and this is the process of completing the square for variable y. So now let's simplify. 8 over 2, 4 square minus 8 over 2 is 4 square equal 16 plus y plus 4 square, and then again 8 over 2, 4 square is 16. As for the final equation, we get x plus 4 square plus y plus 4 square, and then move both of these negative 16 to the right. Okay, 4 plus 16 plus 16 equal 36. Okay, we can compare with the standard form of circle. X minus h square plus y minus k square equal r square. So from here we can get the coordinate for the center of the circle. Okay, h -4, k also -4. And for the radius, r square equals 36. So r equals square root of 36. So radius of the circle is 6. Okay, and that is all for this topic of completing the square. Thank you.